process. They think you're a joke. Trust the process. Feel no hope. Trust the process. Helpless and broke. Trust the process. About to give up. No. Trust the process. I make music to empower the people. It's time to wake up. Stop acting like sheep. No need for the shepherd in the herd. I'm not the walking dead. I ain't concerned. Never influenced or even amused, so you can keep it conservative and liberal views. Beats, rhymes, rhythm, life. Second time around, I settled the score twice. First act, Son G thought was the best. Turned out he wasn't, I laid him the rest. Rolo's here now to build the foundation. Rolo verse 2, chapter 12, Revelations. My lyrical scriptures remind you of the good book.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rolo Runs the City. This is episode 2, season 4, and we are so glad to be here. I am your host, Rolo, and you can feel free to reach me up at Twitter, Instagram, at Rolo Runs the City, or hit me up on my YouTube. Of course, Rolo Runs the City. Feel free to subscribe, hit that bell notification, so then that way every time we drop a video, you know about it. And never forget, man, feel free to hit me up on my website, RoloRunsTheCity.com, to check out all things to see what I got going on. But anyway, without further ado, I'm bringing this show to you. And it's episode 2, which is, can I bypass discipline and sacrifice for the good life? And I mean, we should all know the answer to this, but evidently there's some people that may not know. Okay? But let's go ahead and just let's put our information out there, because hopefully you guys will get a clearer understanding on why we need discipline and sacrifice, so then that way we can live a good life. But people want to live great lives but don't want to sacrifice and the discipline that comes with it. So let's just be honest with that. Okay, many people complain about their job, their kids, their marriage, about their health, and they do nothing about it. Just complain. To me, if you're gonna go ahead and complain about something, you're gonna gripe about something. Well, are you doing something about it? Like, you damn right I am. But that's why I'm this upset about it, this passionate about it. And this is why I'm complaining so hard, because I am doing something about it. But do you ever hear anybody saying that they're doing something about it? Hell no, they don't. They do not. Okay, they're not doing anything about it. What they're doing is they're complaining about all their situations. Like, well, what are you doing about it? Well, you still married to your wife. I mean, you complain about your wife. You still married to your wife and you know, and your kids. It's like, yeah. What happened? What happened is that they settled. Okay, they don't have any fight in them to get out. They're scared. They may have to pay child support or whatever, and they're just like, oh, I'll just stay here until the kids turn 18. But now they're scared now, because they're like, oh, great, now I got to pay this lady some alimony. No, I'll just stay here. And then they're miserable. Okay, miserable people. You know, and that's not the way to live. God didn't intend us for us to be on this earth living miserable. We should be living fulfilled. We should be getting after it every day. Okay? So there's no sense in complaining. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just straight up, no sense in complaining if you're not willing to make the necessary changes to improve your situation. Look, if you're not willing to get a divorce and move on and try to move on with your life and do things better, then don't complain. Put up with the wife and put up with the kids. It is what it is. There's nothing wrong with that either. But there's no sense in complaining about it, because you're not going to make a move. Point blank period. I mean, that's just the way it goes. Okay? You know, another thing too is you complaining about your job. They're not keeping you there against your will. You haven't quit yet? Well, start complaining. It is what it is. Okay? If your marriage needs some improvement, I'm sure seeing somebody outside the marriage and actually stepping out is not going to help. It really isn't. You know, adding another person into the mix will not help, nor will it make you feel a certain way. You think it's going to be like, oh, this is so lovely. I'm finding a girl that digs me. You know? Why are we living that life? Why are we living like that? You know what I'm saying? If you're not happy with your marriage, then get divorced. Feel free to date. People do it all the time. But you always see people that are miserable in their marriage, and what they do, they go and they step out. they go and they do something stupid that they're gonna regret later on. You know why? Because you're scared you're gonna regret getting divorced, and that was your biggest mistake. But at the same token, what you're doing is you're flirting with not only getting divorced respectfully, but him or her, you know, throwing the book at you in court and having all this documentation stating, oh yeah, so and so got hotel rooms here. I mean, come on, man. You see it all the time. You ain't got to see divorce court to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? So your best bet is to just step out of your marriage and move forward. Not stepping out while you married and doing some crazy stuff. I mean, for real. You know? And then, you know, no matter how much you or your spouse deny it, you guys are miserable. But you're still staying in the situation. I mean, it's horrible. You know, you're not content with another. And this additive does not make things sweeter. It's like, oh yeah, well, you know, if I had this side chick, I'll be okay. Really? I've never seen a situation where having a person on the side actually enhances the relationship. I mean, unless if y'all swingers and that's what y'all do. But for the most part, that's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not here to give nobody marital advice, but I just know when the marital bond is between two people, when you add more people to that equation, it's not going to come out to be a better solution to the problem. It's just not. So it is what it is. You know, they say happy wife, happy life. And also they also say, you know, happy hubby or happy husband. There ain't no fussing, something like that. I don't know, but I tell you like this: don't bring nothing into your relationship that don't need to be there. Okay, relationships harsh with your kids. You know, you're like, why aren't they, you know, doing what I'm doing? Why don't they want to hang out with us? I mean, truth be told, you have to do something that everybody will be on board with. You know what I mean? And your kids' friends will have more influence on their life than you will. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. You know, you try to relate to a teenager, but you in your 40s, you know, they can't truly relate to you. You know what I mean? There's too much of an age gap. But at the same token, you have to do what you can, you know, to relate to your kids in reference to letting them know, hey, I've been there as well. But, you know, you have to do something that they're going to get on board with as well. You know what I mean? There has to be some sort of a relationship that's joined. So then that way it's like, oh, okay, well, dad or mom knows exactly where I'm coming from or what I'm going from. You know what I'm saying? But if you think you're going to compete against your kids' friends, because like I said, man, they're going to have more influence over their life than you will. So it's going to be friends 1, parents 0. It is what it is. We're losing that battle. So you have to do the best that you can to try to, not so much, I don't like to say relate, because it's like I'm not your friend, I'm your parent. But I want you to understand that I've been where you're at. You know what I mean? And it's like, this was the approach I took. You take the approach however you want to see it. You can learn the hard way, or you can learn from a mistake. But the choice is yours. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when you're stuck at a dead-end job, right? Let's segue into that real quick, because you have a lot of people that just, they ain't happy with all these aspects, whether they be their kids, their marriage, or their job, you know, and it no longer fulfills you. Stop complaining to your coworkers. Dedicate 2 hours a day towards your dream while funding it with the current job that you totally hate right now. You know what I'm saying? And put in that work. And remember, the results always vary, but that hustle is guaranteed all the time. You're gonna have to grind that out. It just is what it is. There's no skipping the process. You know what I mean? So that's basically what I would do if I'm in that situation. If I'm not happy, I'm like, man, I gotta dedicate 2 hours a day. That's 14 hours a week. You know what I mean? That's actually if you ask me, that's part-time job hours. And I know you like, man, I'm already working 40. Yeah, but you already work at 40, but you may have to work 54 if you're trying to get out of that 40. So then that way, if you work in 40, or if you, because let's be honest with it, when you're running your own business, you ain't working just 40 hours. You working well over 60, 70, 80 hours. Okay? But if that's what you want your passion to be, your main cash cow, I recommend you start putting in 2 hours daily. You know what I'm saying? If you're really disgusted with your situation at the job. I understand there's different strokes for different folks. Things happen, like, hey, I don't get along with the boss. I'm not making enough money. There's so many variables that come into play. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you're doing what makes you happy. And that means putting up with the crap for the meantime and then building your dream. And it's going to suck and it's going to be hard, but you have to do what needs to get done in order to get to where you want to go. All right? So your health is falling off. Let's get on to the health aspect. You know what I'm saying? And, you got to put the donut down and start working out. Point blank period. I went through this, and it's like, trust me, it's like, it's difficult because once you fell off the wagon, trust me, it is hard to get back on. It's like trying to catch a bullet train on foot. It is very hard to do. You know what I mean? But, knowing, half the battle is identifying the fact that there is a problem. So once you do that, you have to remember, you have to follow through, and it's going to require sacrifice and discipline in order to make those necessary changes to get the result that you want in the end. And of course, it's always going to be hard, but in the end, it's always well worth it, because I would rather go hard and maintain than keep going through a yo-yo effect of trying to be in shape and then not be in shape and then try to get in shape again. And it's just, it's nightmare and it's hell on the body. Let's be quite honest with you. But like I said, the answer is no. You cannot bypass sacrifice and discipline and still live the good life. Obviously, I know a lot of you knew that. Maybe some of you didn't. But at the end of the day, you have to trust the process. Instant gratification ain't going to be it. We talked about that before. You're not going to skip discipline and sacrifice and think that you are going to live the good life if you're not willing to put in the work. So if you're a person that is married, you got to figure out where you want to go. At one time you did love your significant other. What do you want to do with that? You have to really go ahead and really understand what's going on with that. Okay? Like, yes, I love my significant other. I loved her at one point extremely. Let's figure out how we can get back to that. Or this ain't working no more. Let it be. With your kids, doing the best that you can to understand. Telling them that you went through the same situation. See what's happening. With your job. Put 2 extra hours towards your dream. If you notice all these things that I'm telling you right now, putting the donut down, pick up some vegetables, start eating some salad, start working out. If you notice, everything that I'm telling you is requiring sacrifice. And at the end of the day, not only is it requiring sacrifice, but to do it on a daily basis is going to require large amounts of discipline. So always remember, folks, very grateful that you guys came through. Become the GOAT, never a sheep. Don't sleep on your dreams. This is Rolo, Rolo Runs the City Podcast. We out.